You wake up with a plan to finally tackle your biggest goal, but somehow the hours just disappear. You check your phone, organize your desk, and reply to messages. Suddenly, the day is almost over, and the task you wanted to complete is still waiting. This common experience is rarely a problem of time management. Psychology identifies procrastination as a problem of emotional management. Stephen Pressfield calls this force resistance. It is a psychological defense mechanism your brain uses to avoid the discomfort, uncertainty, or boredom associated with difficult work. This mechanism is driven by present bias. Your brain naturally values immediate rewards, like the instant gratification of social media, much more than the abstract future rewards of achieving a long-term goal. Resistance actually serves as a compass. The more internal friction you feel toward a specific project, the more certain you can be that the project is important to your personal growth. Understanding that procrastination is an emotional trigger allows you to stop fighting yourself with willpower and start disarming the triggers through systematic action. There are two distinct ways to approach work. The first is the mindset of the amateur. The amateur relies on fleeting motivation. They wait for the perfect idea or the right mood before they begin, meaning their progress is only as consistent as their emotions. Amateurs often focus on these outcome goals, results that are dependent on external factors, such as making a certain amount of money or receiving a specific number of views. Because these outcomes are outside your control, the brain interprets the work as a threat to your ego, anticipating the pain of failure. This threat response triggers perfectionism. You delay starting, waiting for a perfect plan to avoid a poor result. The alternative is to adopt the identity of the professional. A professional works based on a committed system rather than how they feel each morning. Professionals operate on input goals. These are targets entirely within their control, like sitting at a desk for a set period or writing a specific number of words. Shifting to inputs lowers the stakes for the brain. When your goal is simply to show up and do the work, the ego is no longer tied to an unpredictable result, which helps lower the biological alarm signals that cause delay. This strategy addresses activation energy. This is the mental hurdle required to begin a project. If you imagine the entire mountain of work ahead, the resistance feels insurmountable. To lower this barrier, the professional makes the first step ridiculously small. Shrinking the task reduces friction, making it easier for the brain to engage without triggering a threat response. For example, instead of trying to write a full presentation, the only goal is to open the document and write one single sentence. Focusing strictly on controllable inputs and microscopic first steps neutralizes the fear of the project, making the act of starting a manageable choice. Transforming your productivity requires moving beyond internal mindset shifts and into the engineering of your external environment. Willpower is a finite resource. Constant resistance to distractions like your phone or open browser tabs drains your mental energy before you can apply it to your work. Environment override makes productive behavior the path of least resistance. By physically removing your phone and closing unnecessary notifications before you begin, you save your energy for the task itself. This environmental control helps bypass the common excuse of waiting to feel confident before you start a new skill or business. Real confidence is the result of experience gathered through action. Each time you complete a small, challenging task, your brain gathers evidence that you are capable, which then fuels the confidence to continue. Waiting to feel ready is a mistake. Professionals start before they feel confident, allowing the momentum of their work to build the belief in their own ability. Even with a perfect system, there are moments when the resistance to starting feels heavy. In these moments, use the 5-minute rule. Make a deal with yourself to work for only 5 minutes, with the full permission to stop immediately afterward if you choose. Once you break the initial friction, momentum takes over. Motivation follows action, making it significantly easier to continue once you have already begun. To reinforce this habit, reward small milestones immediately. Celebrating the completion of one chapter or one focused hour helps your brain associate productive behavior with positive emotions. Over weeks and months, these small choices reshape the way you see yourself. Every time you choose action, you strengthen your identity as someone who gets things done. Pause this video and take the smallest possible action on your most important task right now.